I mean, but for real, I got a payroll.
Yeah.
And so when you are leading in this way, when you are providing not just for yourself, but for those around you, your whole community, how are you not masculine in your energy, right?
Yeah.
But to Melyssa's point, most of the women I know, especially the Black women, we would love if we didn't have to.
Woo.
What people don't realize.
Be soft and pink.
What'd you say?
I want to be soft and pink.
Correct.
Yeah.
What most people don't realize is that most masculine women are masculine.
I'm 38 years old, and the women 44 and up confuse the hell out of me. And that's just me being completely honest. My late mother was 56 years old when she passed away. So the women right in between our age group puzzle me, because it's a fallacy that Black women are now working and paying bills and doing things that they never have done before. This is erroneous. Black women have always worked, even in two-parent households, which we had by outnumbering other races, nationalities, and ethnicities in the 1960s. So we're not working any more than we already have. We have always been women that have gone to school and been educated. If the Black woman was not so far removed from her culture and the biblical constructs, then she would be able to see this. If we begin to take a look at, because Black women love to talk about a man being a provider, a man being a protector, X, Y, and Z, yet miss the standards for what a Black woman truly is. I wrote a blog, and I'll link it down below, and it's literally concerning the role of the Black woman in creation. When we begin to look at the scripture, it begins to state that wisdom, she was there in the beginning, and Yod-Heh-Wav possessed her in his works. And through wisdom, he laid and created the foundations of the earth. When we begin to look at wisdom in scripture, in the book of Ecclesiastics, in the book of Proverbs, in the Sirach, wisdom is described, and even in the book of Psalms, as the lights. And the light is described as the law. The law is described as the word. Chokmah is a feminine aspect of the Most High. It is going to be spelled Chokmah. And when we began to look at the biblical Hava name, who the world erroneously calls Eve, her name is going to be spelled Chavah. Very similar, right? Also in comparison to Yod-Heh-Wav, YWHW. All of these share similar roots of one another. And Hava is called the mother of all things living. The root of her name means to give life, making the aspect of the Black woman, the monocultural Eve, one of the main aspects of creation. When we began to look at the book of Proverbs, when it talks about a Proverbs 31 wife, she had a husband that was known at the gates. Those who sat at the gate of the cities were the scribes, the Pharisees, the Sadducees, and the zealots. Those were the teachers and the elders of the community who went forth in healing and in deliverance. When we began to look even further, when a man took a wife in these times, the first year of his life, he was not able to go out to war because of how important that familiar structure was to this man. The Proverbs 31 woman was trained in guerrilla warfare. No, we did not put on garments that belonged to men, hence pants didn't have anything to do with it. It was war garments, because our men 20 and up, if they were not lame, if they were not sick, so on and so forth, they went out to war on our behalf, meaning that we had to be able to be trained in order to protect our homes and infrastructure. Historical aspect. Y'all saw the movie. I didn't watch it. The Woman King. It's loosely based on the Dahomey Kingdom of West Africa, who would be the tribe of Dan. And when we begin to look into the book of the Judges, you will see Deborah. The root of her name, Dilet Beit Resh, Dbar, is the same root that you begin to see in the word Debar, which literally means uttering a word to speak. So when you begin to look in the book of John, and it begins to say that in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God, and the Word became flesh. That concept of logos and rhema, even though those are Greek words, they come with their own theology that was planted on the inside of our book with the Greco-Roman captivity that was seen between 333 BC and 164 BC, from Alexander the Great to Antiochus Epiphanes. So when you begin to look at rhema and logos, the Hebrew equivalent would be debar, and that is the word that you begin to see in the beginning. The dialect would begin to be door. Bet would begin to be the house or the tent, because these were nomadic, tent dwelling, sedentary, semi-nomadic shepherds and farmers. Then we begin to look at the resh, that is the head. So the word was the door of the sun. Bar is son in Aramaic for Yeshua to come through in the beginning, which was wisdom, which is wisdom. And that is what the black woman is supposed to personify in the earth realm. So when you look at the Proverbs 31 woman, it begins to say that while her children are sleeping, this is why I love my mama so much, because people like to talk crazy and talk greasy and throw jabs and woo. But when I began to lay out the infrastructure of the type of wife and the type of mother my mother was, she hit these markers. It begins to say that a Proverbs 31 woman begins to make her children's clothes and her husband's clothes by hand. While they are sleeping, they are already up praying and getting the food ready and lighting the oil and in preparation for their home as intercessor. They have already acquired a field, meaning she had her own money, so that when her husband is out, she's looking for land. She's looking for something that she can build up autonomously, so that when it is time to flee, because it's always time to flee for the Negro when we're in captivity, that we would have somewhere to go. She acquires a field. Her children arise and call her blessed. Her husband arises and calls her blessed. This is a woman that begins to sell things in the market. She's a working woman, a woman of wealth, a woman of riches. And she is the first teacher of her children. She creates the personality. She's the one that's teaching the law and teaching Torah. So when she hands them off to the priest or hands them off to the husband, he's teaching them and reinforcing what the mother implemented. He's teaching them trade. He's teaching them hand-to-hand combat and all of these different things. When we begin to look historically into Nanny Maroon in Jamaica, she brought guerrilla warfare over into the Jamaicas. When I go to the gun range, my nails are still long. The only nails that's short on my fingers is my trigger finger and my thumb. And it's for three reasons. My ATM card, the trigger, and so that I can properly roll my herb. Still feminine, still cute, still prim, still proper. The masculinity on the inside of me that I seek to kill out, masculine men have never seen that side of me. Ever. When I began to talk to someone who's been knowing me ever since I was about 7, 8 years old about something that I went through in my previous relationship, he was flabbergasted. You even had some women that was flabbergasted. Women be flabbergasted for other reasons, because they put you on a pedestal and just think that you're too good for certain stuff, when I was raised as a woman to never say what I won't do and never say what I won't become, because that's the very place that I would end up being in. A masculine response is a trauma response. And that means that Black women need to go to therapy. Black women need to heal and stop making excuses to say that they don't have a choice but to be. Your mothers and your grandmothers was closer to slavery than you were. Their husbands was going off to war. They were used to the two-family household structure and things of that nature. We can't use our trauma as an excuse for our disposition. Because that's literally all it is an imbalanced woman. And if we admit as women the areas that we are too masculine in and stop blaming men for our trauma response, because it's a trauma response. You can pinpoint the cause. The ball being dropped. Maybe it's your mama, your daddy, the abuse, the rape, the woo, 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 woo. Stop mentioning your money. My mother had a bachelor's degrees. She was doubly mastered. At her funeral, we graduated her with her doctorate in pastoral counseling. She was a counseling case manager for Chicago public schools. Business owner. Nonprofit owner. She pastored alongside with my father. Her bank account did not matter when it came to her marriage. Her money was to help out her mom, her daughters, her grandchildren, to go towards her businesses and stuff. Yeah, she would pay like small bills, miscellaneous bills. Mama wasn't picking up no mortgage and things of that nature, even though she out-earned my father, who's a high-earning man. That's not the role that she signed up for as a woman. So for women mentioning their degrees, women mentioning their credit scores, women mentioning all of these things, that's your choice to be masculine. That's not the quantifications or the qualifications that men are using for take your penis off the table, sis. And we wonder why the DL community is so high in the Black community. A lot of us women have turned men out with our behavior. But maybe that's just a whole nother conversation. But you like 44s and ups, y'all get it together. I'm 38 years old. I'm an older woman now in my mind. But it's also y'all and women my age still dating down in their 20s and all of these other things. We just need to raise our right hand of fellowship and say, it's me, it's me, it's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. Because even the tone of your voice is masculine. And when Melyssa says that she wants to be prim and she wants to be proper and she wants to be male, no, you don't. You be on Joe Budden podcast telling them men to suck your dick. You're the problem. Eboni Williams, I think that's your name, Eboni K. Williams. You've stated that you've dated all type of men, the whole smorgasbord, and you have not been able to ascertain that which it is that you require. You're the problem. And it's okay, because that means that you can have a solution. Let's stop blaming Black men. It's not okay. Because if we're going to blame them for our masculinity, then we need to take onus for a lot of their femininity. This is Jacolia of Jacolia Gems. Food for thought.